Hello, everyone. It's Mark here again. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're a growing global community of over 150,000 across our 8 LinkedIn groups, which is very exciting. But this is the best part of the job for me. This is where I get to introduce you to one of our full members. And so I'm joined today by Romy Birchler. Romy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Nice meeting you, Mark, and look forward to our journey today.
Yes. Now you're in the lake. Well,
At
you're
Lake Zurich, yeah, near Zurich,
in Switzerland, which
in
is
Switzerland, yeah.
lovely. I bet, is it cold at the moment there?
It's January, but we have occasionally very mild days. And yes, it's winter, but we often get sun, and I very much enjoy the sunny days.
It's lovely. So,
And it's
oh,
great. I also think that we are already on the side where the days are already longer, so it's
yes,
okay.
yeah, I think is it the 21st of December, which is the longest day? I think.
Okay, and we are all, I think as soon as it gets into it, like after 10 or 15 days, you can recognize it, and it's always bringing it up, and it's always say, okay, the darker place, darker side of the year already behind. Yeah.
No, well, I'm looking forward to the summer already, which is
Ah, yeah, me too. I'm there.
excellent. Thank you for that. So, what we're going to do today is I'm going to create your fantasy cultural year from the answers to 10 easy questions. It'll be good fun. I have a magic wand and a time machine, so we can. It's a rather creative process, but it does have the benefit of pulling out some surprises and some anecdotes and sometimes a few laughs, but it's a way of all of our members getting to know you and about your preferences. So that's coming up. But before we do that, I wonder if you'd be kind enough to tell us a little bit more about the work you do and the what your superpowers are, and where your passions lie. I know that you're heavily into the concept of being a change agent. I've described you to my friends as a creative evangelist, which is lovely. But there's a certain amount of intuition and sensitivity to spirituality in some ways, and human nature. And I love the way that you've described that. So perhaps tell us a little bit about the kind of project that you work on and how you help people in those circumstances.
Okay, my name is Romy Birchler. I see myself as somebody who can bridge. I'm an artist and I love to do fractal arts and I do photography and I do creation. For me, it's as a certified conscious business change agent is to bring my power into change to help people to transition and the tool of creativity is a very helpful one. And I like to engage me in future much more. And I'm also ready to travel. I use the stretch of my life to spend in African places. I very much prefer places in South Africa, like at the Indian Ocean or so. It feels very much right for me to live there for my body and for my health, as I'm really a lover of warm weather and yeah.
Me too. I'm a lover of warm weather. I would much rather be somewhere warm most of the time. Um, that's great.
And
Thank you. So,
perhaps a little bit background. I came up as a commercial and was for many years working in the IT on SIP. Um, and I think it's very helpful to structure and to organize. I big love for organizing and bringing people together, and the tool of organization is always very helpful to really get good structured and to get good events.
are there
And
any restrictions on where you can work or the size of the organization?
I'm very much in tune in something that coming up, startups or organization, they very much enjoy like eco villages. They are bringing together oneness, and on the other side science, and they're bridging it, and they are open for new ways of living, new ways of going together, because I very much feel and think and see that the world around me is a little bit going down, and there are new ways of working together and also living together, or bring everything together. It sounds very much right for me.
That's
And I
great.
think there
Well,
are a lot of communities around the globe already, and yeah. I think my skills of bringing together and bring creativity into the process. I think it's a very important one, because without it's difficult, and it opens up so many opportunities where without you never would have found it.
I think that's great. There are some lovely stories about how creativity has transformed some organizations and that collaborative creativity. I recall there was a company in the UK that made matches, you know, and they're in boxes in a matchbox. And they were in trouble financially, this company. This must have been perhaps even 100 years ago. And the great thing about a matchbox is that it has to be tight enough for the tray to stay where it is and hold the matches in the box. But
Oh, wow.
it has to be loose enough so that you can push it open and closed. So that's quite an engineering feat. But one of the leaders of that matchbox making company put out an appeal to his staff, inviting them to come up with a creative solution, because they were that would help save on their production costs. And at the time, the striking paper was on both sides of the box. And one of the most junior people in that company put into the suggestion box the question, why do we need to have the striking paper on both sides? We could have it on just one side, and we could carry advertising on the other side. And from the youngest, most creative person in the business came the idea that saved the company. And
Ah.
so it's really reassuring to know that you're out there helping organizations and people manage change in a creative way. And we're all creative to a greater or lesser extent. We all need to be creative in our roles. In fact, a friend of mine did a psychometric test on 50 of his employees, and to establish where the creativity was in the company. And they found 4 people in the administration section who should have been in the creative team, because they were unexpectedly creative in what was a right brain operation, left brain
Okay.
operation. So I think it's fascinating that you can bring creativity, imagination, and change together and come up with and end up in somewhere in a better place. So I think
That sounds great. And while I'm this story, it also tells me that a lot of challenges in our times are are here, and we can go into it by applying what we already know, and to get curious about what could be behind. But I think it's very much about application. Only when we start to walk, it's just we can have 1,000 models and 1,000 ideas, but usually I'm very much drawn to apply a lot of different things, and getting by application, into the solution by doing different kinds of applications, different ways of going, because by walking you get the rhythm, you get the feel. It's very easy sometimes to end up in concepts and have 1,000 of them, but at least haven't tried or going and to walk and to apply as many as possible. I think it's also a way how I learn. It's a little bit of theory, it's very important, but then to go out in the field and try out whatever I feel could work. It's not to be afraid of, it's not for me, it's not a failure. Not everything I start has to end. Something, it just gives me good indications for putting somewhere else. So it feels also right for me to say we are living in a very complex world, and it's very much needed to have the ability to break it down. So you in pieces, yeah, on one side on pieces, on the other side to have the ability to simplify it so that it really connects.
Yeah, that's great, Romy. Thank you so much for that. Wherever this appears, there'll be links to you and the work that you're doing. So that's great. Thank you. I'm now going to create your fantasy cultural year. It's fast paced, so we'll whip through it. It's great fun. So I'm going to start by placing you somewhere in the world. I think I might know where you're going, but could I ask you, what's your favorite building?
My favorite building, that's a good question. I would have several. I think once is it's just the feeling of living in a tiny house. Living in a tree house would be also nice. Living in a cottage.
Mm-hmm. Where in the world would you like to be? Somewhere warm, I suspect.
Yeah, somewhere warm and yeah, near to water, often very good near to the ocean, but also sometimes good to be on a lake or whatever. But for me, water is very important.
Me too. I live by a river as well. I always have.
Yeah, but river is not, I think it's also an energy, but it's not the same energy. I mean, we also can live on a pond or so, but for me, it's just the driving energy. There are ocean and there it's lake, yeah.
Okay. Now I'd like you to imagine that you're sitting on the veranda or the terrace in your lovely cottage, perhaps in the hillsides of Cape Town with the view of the ocean, and there is a drink next to you on your table. What would I find there at 6 p.m. on a sunny evening? What would be your favorite drink to have?
My favorite drink to have, it's something I used to say I am not drinking twice the same, so it would be my fantasy drink, which fits in the to the time. I imagine I very much like different kinds of rooibos tea, and this one is also very nice for using it for drinks. I mean, on one side you can use it for in the warm form, but also the comfort, and then to add different juices like apple juice, like adding lemons looks very nice because this red and this yellow, and do a little bit spices like ginger or like cinnamon and a little bit pepper and so, and perhaps for decoration an orange and nice stroll.
Very nice. I can picture it now. That looks and sounds delicious. Um, and there is also a book on the table next to you. It could be your favorite book, it could be a recent discovery, or it could be a book that's changed your life. What book might I find on the table next to you?
Um, the book lying at my side, it's the book I am on writing it. And it's called Three Friends on a Journey. It's about three dogs meeting on a sunny day on a waterfall with their holders, and they connect with each other very fast. And their problem or their challenge, I think would better see, is they just know they have to do, they will stay for a stretch of time together. but they are holden by their holders and they have to find a way to escape.
I love it. And you're writing that one, did you say?
I started, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. I love it. Excellent. Now, you've just been approached by a family foundation, and they like to fund research, and in particular, how creativity can help an organization change. Okay. So they've asked you if you would spend a year touring the globe, interviewing entrepreneurs and businesses who have been successful in changing their organizations using creativity to create a kind of creativity league table amongst nations. And they're going to pay you quite a lot of money to do this. There'll be a book deal in it. You'll get to do a TED talk. There will be a university lecture tour all over the world afterwards about creative change. There will be a TV show in it as well. So all you need to do is to decide where you would like to start. So if you could start that research, family and friends can come and visit you. It's first class all the way, and lovely homes to live in when you're away. So where would you like to start? What country would you start in to research creative change?
I would start in Western Africa.
Okay.
And one of my places I was when I was much younger and I very much enjoyed it was Ghana. And
Mm-hmm.
I think they have made so many changes, and what I can see, they're also improve. And they also improve and bring together with a lot of permaculture and natural projects, and also project with children and creativity. And there is a lot of dance and movement around, and how they're all jungling, how they are bringing this sometimes together or on the different places. I think it could be a place of interest, yeah?
Perfect. I'm afraid I don't remember what the capital city is of
It's
Ghana.
Accra, Accra.
Accra. I thought it might be. Perfect. Okay. Now you're in Accra, and don't forget we have a time machine and we have a magic wand, so we can move around the world as much as we like. So you arrive in Accra, and a group of young people are there to greet you. They're going to take you to a dance performance, and then they're going to take you out to dinner. Now, you don't have to stay in Ghana for this. You can go anywhere. So what I'd love to know is if you could watch any dance performance, historical even or modern, it doesn't have to be Ghanaian. If I could wave a magic wand and put any form of dance on the stage in front of you, what would you choose?
I would choose an event where it's very natural, very outdoor, like a lot of drums, and into the evening at the ocean.
Beautiful. Love that. And what about
With a lot of fire and with all when it go into the night and drumming and just chatting with people and exchanging and celebrate the time.
I love that. That's great. And what about a national cuisine for dinner afterwards? You can have any national cuisine for dinner. What would you choose?
After this dance, I think there would be very light meal on vegetables and some protein out of avocados or whatever. Very light one, yeah.
Okay, love that. Um, now
And
there is
I mean some salads or yeah, some
okay.
whatever.
Now we've jumped on an aeroplane and we're going to another country. Where are we going? Anywhere in the world.
Um, I feel drawn to the geography of Chile.
Oh, okay. So we're in Chile. Santiago, I think, is the capital of Chile, I think. And we're going to a sporting event. Now, we had breakdancing in the Olympics, so some sport is considered a performance art. So if you were watching sport for a couple of hours, which sport would you choose?
I would some kind of gymnastics, artistics and gymnast. Yeah, some artistical gymnastic.
Excellent. There is a discipline, isn't there? Artistic gymnastics with with the ribbons and the so yes, we can have a look at that. That's great. Now, this one's an interesting one. In Santiago, in our fantasy cultural year, there is a new art gallery, and you can put on some virtual reality headset and you can step into the work of a famous artist and walk around inside the painting. 360 degrees, 3 dimensions, animation. If you could do that, whose work would you like to step into?
Oh, there are a few artists I'm very much into. I think I would go for some modern architecture also.
So you could
Some time of the Moderne in the 50s or 60s and so. And there are not only one artist, there are a group of artists. And
love
there must
that.
be find there. There must be find in the art gallery still there.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. I love that. Now I'm going to give you a hero day. We're nearly there. A hero lunch. You can have. We've. Where would you like to go next? We're in Santiago in Chile. We're flying again. Where should we go next? Our final country.
Um, I think I would like to fly into Spain.
Spain. Where in Spain? Would you like to be in Seville or Madrid or Barcelona or up in the north of Santander? Where would you prefer to be in Spain? In the sun? I bet you'll be in the warmer bit. You'll be in the warm bit in the south.
Yeah, on one side, yes. On the other side, I think it's just I have visited these places. I'm also curious about the place about Granada.
Oh yes, the Alhambra Palace.
Yeah, I know I have visited a long time ago and spent some time there and even sometimes my holidays.
Hmm.
And it's a while ago, I was in the south of Spain. Yeah, okay.
In Granada.
And
That's lovely.
yeah, and Granada, it's interesting place because it's not all that far to the sea. And it has a very arrangement of the mountains in the back. And I think that's I mean, they are very special because it's great view and great climate. It's a little bit warmer than where I used to live now. And it has a little bit also, I think Spain, it's a little bit for me, it has a little bit it's like a bridging country to African place. It brings it's very much a melting pot.
It is. There is a significant Moorish influence
Yeah.
on the
And I
palace.
think I mean when you're a little bit into culture and into whatever things and to see these aspects on every part of life until today, very much this influence. I think it's very it's vibrant. Yeah.
Lovely. And finally, then, let's assume we're at the Alhambra Palace in Granada, in Spain. It's a beautiful day. And I've reserved a table in a very good restaurant there within sight of the palace for you to have a leisurely 2-hour lunch. And you can invite anyone you like, one person, living or not, famous or otherwise, to end our fantasy cultural year. Who would you like to have lunch with? They will come.
Oh, I would say I would invite my grandmother.
I love that. And in a twist to this, who would your grandmother invite? Who would she like to spend that lunch with, together with you?
I think it would be a special occasion. She would take her husband with because I never met my grandpa,
Your grandfather.
and so it would be the first time to meet him.
That's a lovely way to end this fantasy cultural year. Romy, thank you so much for doing this. As I mentioned, wherever this appears, there'll be much more information about you and the great work that you're doing to help everybody approach change in a creative manner. I think it's great work that you're doing. So, and again, thank you so much for being one of our full members. Please don't rush off, but in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed your fantasy cultural year. And we'll get this published and promoted as quickly as possible. There'll be links in this, so please do connect with Romy on LinkedIn and elsewhere. Romy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. It was a joy. It was a pleasure.